Present-day San Francisco, California. Today in the great city, the streets are bustling with activity as commuters fight their way through the traffic to get to their places of destination. Little do they know, not too far back, these same streets ran red with blood, with great gladiatorial feats of entertainment being held. And why was all this bloodshed? What was the reason for it all? Entertainment. Purely, simply, entertainment. Let us transform ourselves back in time and tell a story about San Francisco that a lot of people may not want to be told. I found the bout to be disrespectful. Unwilling bound as the animals were, the spectacle had nothing in it great or praiseworthy. One poor beast pitted toward the other, and so shamefully handled. Albert von Chisholm, 1816, San Francisco. We heard the ruckus from 2 blocks away. When we went up to see what was all about, it was a sight to be seen, Anna. They had a bear chained to a post and a bull tied to it, and fellows on horseback all around keeping 'em fighting real good. There was people cheering and hollering. It was a sight to be seen for sure. Carl Roland, San Francisco, 1850. Juan Bautista de Anza, born July 6, 1736 in New Spain, was seen as a great military officer and capable of leading and organizing men. The task was put upon his shoulders by the New Spain government to go into the new territories of California and find new inland routes. The expedition departed on January 8, 1774, led by Juan Bautista, with 3 parties, 20 soldiers, 11 servants, 35 mules, 65 cattle, and 140 horses, set forth from Tubac south of present-day Tucson, Arizona. They went across the Sonora Desert to California, swinging through Mexico over the Gala River to avoid Apache attacks, until they hit the Colorado River at the Yuma Crossing. After successfully crossing the Colorado River, they followed it south for about 50 miles to the southwest corner of Colorado, then turning northwest through present-day Mexicali, then turning north again through present-day Imperial Valley, then northwest before reaching finally Mission San Gabriel, the now city that is known as Los Angeles. The journey had taken 74 days to do this reconnaissance mission, but Juan Bautista had been highly successful, and he had now charted an inland route to California. Things would never be the same. Doors would be opened, and new cultures would be shared. They come into the house of the Lord and worship the Lord. Then afterwards go to those barbaric fights to watch God's animals mutilate one another. It's an after Sunday event and is a disgrace to be held on the Sabbath. Bear and bullfight after the Sabbath services was indeed a happy occasion. Hubert Howe Bancroft, 1888, San Francisco, California. My Lord and Savior, I shall always be thankful to. Myself and my countrymen have done great things in this new land, and built houses devoted to spreading the word of God. It breaks my heart and hardens it to see my other countrymen bring up traditions and such sinful foulness from our homeland that should have been left there and banned. We have brought God, but we have also brought blood. Juan Valdes, 1778. The introduction of the Spaniards in this new land brought new religions, traditions, and entertainment. Long after the Spaniards would leave, and long after the great expeditions to find the new en route land routes, some of the traditions would still be held on to by its citizens for its entertainment value, like bull and bear fighting, pitting one great animal towards the other in a great gruesome display of blood. The typical fight consisted of men on horseback manning the perimeter with firearms lest one of those beasts escaped. In the typical battle, the grizzly bear, standing up to 8 feet tall and weighing as much as 800 pounds, would be chained to a post staked to the ground. The bull, its horns fastened with garlands, would be roped to the bear to keep the brutes in their vicinity. And with the crowd in the frenzy, the burst of an official's pistol would set off the melee of swiping, biting, and frenzy scraping in great sounds of terror. Not everyone was comfortable with this vicious bout. Some watched, some didn't, but all observed nevertheless. After much urging from a great brother of mine, I decided I would attend one of these fights and see what all the commotion was about. So after church on Sunday, I parted with my wife and my children, met up with my brother at the saloon, threw back a couple drinks, and decided we'd walk over to the arena. The undercard was cockfights. After a few little bloody cockfights, they swept up the arena and got it ready for the main event. After the arena had finally been cleared out, I heard a great commotion to the left, and I saw the door open, and a man walked out with a long chain, and tied to the end of the chain was a great grizzly bear. There were other men on horseback with long sticks and whips keeping the bear at bay as they drug him to the middle of the arena and tied him to the post. The men on horseback then stood back, and the man that had been on foot left the arena, and all stood quiet in great anticipation. Then 3 of the men on horseback rode back to the opening in the arena gate. I heard another commotion. Then all of a sudden a great bull rushed out into the middle of the arena. 2 of the men on horseback tamed the bull and tied ropes to its horns, fastening them and securing them very tight. They then dragged the bull close to the post where the bear was. While one man on horseback distracted the bear, they tied the bull close to the bear's vicinity. Then they stood back. Once the bear noticed the bull, they stood there for a while, just looking at each other. Then all of a sudden, the bull rushed in with a great thrust of his horns, digging into the bear's stomach. The bear rolled over and swiped and pawed at the bull and bit him on the neck. The bull seemed shocked and jumped back as the blood oozed down, dripping from the bear's fresh wound in his neck. The bear stood up with a great roar and his claws up in the air. The bull stood back, pawed at the ground a couple times, fresh blood oozing from his neck, now causing a puddle at his feet. He charged in once again at the bear, but the bear was ready this time, and pawed his horns down to the ground, twisted his head around, and lunged to his neck with a great bite. The bull gave a death cry and fell to the ground. The men on horseback now intervened and struck the bear and got him off the bull. They tried to revive the bull and pick him up again, but the bull was done. One man pulled his pistol out and ended the great bull's life with a final shot, and the tragic event was over. Afterwards, my brother and I had a few drinks at the saloon. I let it be known to him that I highly doubt I will be attending any of these matches in the future. It is an experience only to be experienced once for one person's lifetime. San Francisco, 1852. The bull and bear fights had been going on in the territories of California since 1774, introduced by the Spaniards. But in 1852, the Daily Alta California, the most popular newspaper in the territory at the time, denounced the fights. The most popular reporter writing, "The bear fights held Sundays at the Mission Dolores are a vestige of barbarism and a disgrace to the citizens of San Francisco. They must be stopped, and ordinances must be made to make them illegal in the territories." Culture, religion, politics, and even entertainment were changing in the heart of the great city. They no longer wanted to be viewed as the Wild West barbarics. They wanted to be viewed like their fellow sister New York, with culture, entertainment, Broadway, musicals. Bear and bullfights no longer had its place in the heart of the city and would be pushed to the outskirts. Soon it would be even banished from the state entirely. The death knell had been struck. Late in 1852, Ordinance Number 17 was passed, making it unlawful for gambling, saloon dancing, and barren bullfights on the Sabbath. The men that relied on the funds in organizing these barren bullfights were now out of a job. It's clear the citizens, the politicians, and the media of San Francisco no longer wanted barren bullfights in their city. The law was only passed for Sunday the Sabbath, but it was made clear when these men tried to hold the events on the other days, attendance was low and the game was soon over. The great gladiatorial bouts of blood lasted for almost 100 years in the streets of San Francisco. The citizens of the city hungered for it. They yelled for it and churned for the entertainment on the Sabbath. Now these same citizens found themselves all full of the blood, and no longer wanted to be seen as uncivilized, and found the bouts distasteful. The bear and bullfights forever lost to history, but some of us still remember the bear and the bull and the blood that was shed in the streets of San Francisco. Today, in the heart of the great city, people go on about their lives, treading on the same ground their ancestors tread on, not thinking about all the history that has gone on behind them, all the blood that was shed on the streets when the great bull fought the great bear, and the entertainment that was gained by their ancestors. Let us never forget our history and never be ashamed of it. No matter what we encounter, let us always tell the tales of San Francisco.